In this lecture, I'm going to show you how to configure a named ACL. So Cisco has 4 types of ACLs. There's a standard ACL, a named standard ACL, a named extended ACL, and an extended ACL. And the advantage of ACL are twofold. With a named ACL, you can actually give a name to the ACL and a description, and that helps a lot with troubleshooting. So when you're troubleshooting network connectivity, and ACLs are often a part of that, having a name assigned to the ACLs helps you a lot with analyzing traffic and making troubleshooting a lot easier. The second advantage is that with numbered ACLs, you often have multiple lines as a part of a single ACL, and if you want to edit any, you can't edit individually. You have to remove them, edit, and reapply. With a named ACL, it's actually, you can do it individually, so you don't have to remove ACLs. You can edit each line individually, so it makes it a lot easier to manage. So in this example, I've got 2 hosts, but it could be multiple hosts. They're all on a single subnet, 192.168.1.0. I've got a web server on 192.168.3 subnets. 3.1 is the IP address, and the routers are on 192.168.2.0 subnet. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an ACL, named ACL. I'm going to call it HTTP Telnet Filter. I'm going to give it a description as well, or a remark as it's called. I want to deny all HTTP traffic from the host on subnet 192.168.1.0 and to the web server. So that's all web-based applications. And I also want to deny telnet sessions from being started on any host to any router. And I want to permit all other traffic that doesn't match any previous ACL statements. And that's a standard requirement for Cisco ACLs. And then apply the named ACL on router 1 interface inbound on router 1 interface 2.0. So when I've got router 1 here, well, I'm going to apply the ACL inbound on FA2.0. So the traffic that starts at this subnet, the host subnet, and arrives inbound on router 1, I'm going to filter it there. And the reason I'm doing it is because I don't want too much filtering. With an extended ACL, if this is a named extended ACL, I want to make sure I'm not filtering any unwanted traffic. So in this example, I just want to filter traffic from this subnet. If I had other subnets connected, for example, and I applied the ACL outbound on, say, router 1 FA10, it would actually, the ACL that I'm creating would actually apply filtering to the subnets on all other interfaces connected to the router 1. And so what happens is it ends up filtering traffic you don't want filtered. So it's a key part of ACLs where the filtering is done and how you select it, either inbound or outbound, and on what interface. And there'll be other examples where I'll have multiple subnets and I'll want to apply it outbound so it affects multiple subnets and not a single subnet. So in this example here, I'm going to start, and first thing I want to do, I'm going to deny all HTTP traffic and the telnet traffic. Before I do that, I want to verify that what the network connectivity currently is. So I'm going to go to host 1 and host 2 and verify that I can start web-based applications from there. And that's easy enough. Just with this command, I'll just start a web page. So that's the IP address of the web server. And so it does start a web page. So I've got application layer connectivity. The web does work. And I can do the same thing with host 2. So I'll go to host 2, do the same thing. And so it works fine. And there's now telnet sessions from the host. So I'm going to start a telnet session from host 1 to router 1. So to do that, I just go to command prompt. I'm going to type telnet 192.168.2.1. Any IP interface that's active on router 1 will work. And I'll just sign on. So I'm currently connected to router 1. So I do have telnet access. So I'll just exit out of there. Now I want to try telnetting to router 2 from host 1. And I do do get prompts, so there I am on router 2. So that's fine. Currently do have telnet access. Host 2, I'll just try the same thing, make sure it works okay. On host 2, it's going to be 192.168. Actually, I'll try it from router 1 first. 2.1. And sign in is okay, so I have telnet access. Sign out of router 1. Then I'll try router 2. And it looks okay too. Now I'll exit from router 2. So I'm connected there, fine. So what I'm going to do to start with, I'm going to go to router 1 and start configuring some commands. So in this example, I'm going to create the named ACL, call it the HTTP telnet filter. So I'm going to select this here. So I'll go to router 1 and I'll start a session with it. So I'm going to paste here, paste the command. So there's the command IP access list extended and then the name of the ACL. So now I'm in ACL configuration mode. So the next thing I want to do is add a remark, just telling it what the ACL's the purpose of it. And so there it is there, just a remark, and then a statement. Next thing I want to do is add some ACLs. So in this example here, I want to deny, this is for denying HTTP web application traffic. So I want to deny, and I'm going to use TCP because I want to deny a specific application. In this case, it's HTTP packets or any web-based application. So that's TCP. It's a TCP-based application. 192.168.1.0 is the subnet, and the subnet masks off the first 3 octets because that's a subnet specifically I want to filter. Then the host command says, and that's the host 192.168.3.1. And www is what's required to specify that it is web-based traffic. So this is the source subnet, and host is the destination. And there it is. And then I want to do the second command, and this is for telnet. And I'm just going to paste it in here. So deny TCP. Telnet is a TCP based application. So deny TCP. I'm telling it it's a single application. The telnet specifies what the application is, EQ telnet. I'm telling it the source subnet 192.168.1.0. And there's the subnet mask to mask off the what the subnet is. It's the first 3 octets. If I wanted to do 192.168 all subnets, not just one but all of them, I would use 00255.255. So we just mask off the first 2 octets. And then it says any, meaning the destination means any telnet sessions anywhere. So that would be, if I had 10 routers, it would do it for any of them. And that configures that for telnet. And then the last statement is just to permit IP any. So that's with extended, you're saying, say if you got FTP traffic, that wouldn't be filtered, for example. It would be permitted. So you need that in the statement as well. So it's permit IP any. So any source, any destination. So that's any traffic is what that means. So that configures the ACL. And then at this point, I need to apply it somewhere. So what I'm going to do is go to router 1. I'm going to apply it, like I said, inbound on 2.0, nearest to the source as possible. So I'm going to go interface FA20, then IP access group, and the name. And I have to give it the name of it, not a number. telnet filter. That's the name of the ACL. And then I need to tell it whether it's inbound or outbound, so in. And that's done. So it's now applied and active. Okay. So now I'm going to go back to the host and verify it works. So I'm going to go from host 1 and see if I can open up a web-based application on the web server. So I'll go here, HTTP 192.168.3.1. Request timed out, so it's not allowing me to do it. So there's no web-based access from host 1 to the web server. Let me try host 2. And same thing, request timed out. So I don't have any access, so it's working correctly so far. Now what I want to do is try some telnet sessions from the host to the routers. So I'm going to go back to command prompt, and in this case I'm going to telnet to first to router 1. That's one of the interfaces on router 1. And you notice that it's not it's trying to connect but cannot. Connection timed out, so it's not allowing it. Now I'm going to try router 2. There's the router 2 interface. It's doing the same thing. Connection timed out. So traffic is being denied there. And then I'll go over to here. Let me try it here. I'm going to telnet to router 1 first, and it's not working. Connection timed out. 2.1 is the WAN interface. I could also go to the 2.0 interface is 1.3, so I could try that as well. As long as they're both active, I could try both examples of it. In this case, I think I'll just go over to 2.2. Oh, I've already tried that. No, 2.2, now 2.1. I think I've tried them all. This is host 1, that's the wrong one. Go back to host 2. So host 2, I'm going to go to 2.2. And it'll time out too. So connection timed out. So in both cases on both hosts, there is no connectivity of telnet or any web-based applications, and that's what the ACL was designed to do. Now, if I wanted to turn off any packet filtering, all I have to do is just use a no command on the IP access group. Just take it off of the interface, and then it would be actually permitted. It's the access group command that actually makes the ACL active. And that concludes named ACL.